DOT goes forward with this plan, it will change how Father Capodanno is utilized. It will take the road from a 2-lane street to a 1-lane street.
They can't come up with a plan for any issue on Staten Island that doesn't involve bike lanes.
Welcome to another edition of Big Apple Monday, right here on Man with the Show, where we discuss news out of NYC. This particular story we're going to talk about today flew pretty much under the mainstream media. Why? Because we are the bastard child of New York, and we're talking about Staten Island. You know, it gets me. I've lived here, God, more than a decade. And I've noticed how they treat this particular part of New York. You know, we got some great stuff out here. You know, we need better transportation hubs. Stop shrinking our highways. Refurbishment. I mean, they already refurbished them all. And they're trying to refurbish a lot of other stores. We're getting a lot of great supermarkets in here. We just had another ShopRite opened up. As of recent, I'm getting another Aldi. We're getting another couple of other companies that I can't even think of right now at the moment. It's to the point where you got those out there, armchair, e-Karens, road Karens, however you want to call them, and they want to get rid of cars. They really, truly want to get rid of cars. You know, and I mentioned this movie before, The Last Chase, with Lee Majors and Burgess Meredith, about a world without cars, without gas. People use like these little mini carts to get around, but most people didn't travel. They mostly stayed within their territory. They didn't fly. They didn't take a boat or anything of that nature. They stayed within there. And what happened was Lee Majors decided one day to unbury his race car, because he was a race car driver, and decided to basically take it on the road and head for California, a free California. Think about that for a minute. This was like they were getting rid of the cars off the road, but yet California was the place to be. But before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like, comment, share, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. We're getting close to 1,400, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try to push it over and get past 1,400 into 1,500 onto there. We really do appreciate it right now. So we're going to read this out of Staten Island Live. If you're not familiar with SI Live, it is and you can pick this up. They have their own app. Some parts you have to pay for, but you can. They have a lot of good stories on here from Staten Island. City urged to reconsider redesigning effort on a portion of this Staten Island road. Now, for context, the road they're talking about is a place called Father Capodanno Boulevard. Father Capodanno Boulevard is on the South Shore. And that's toward the beaches. It is a long stretch of road. It's near I think it should stretch to the Verrazano. To the point in one direction, and going in the other direction, it goes way to the other side. It connects Midland Beach, South Beach, all the beaches along that corridor section on there. It is a good piece of multiple lane road. Lot of traffic to that point, especially now since with all the congestive pricing. But let's read into this. A bipartisan coalition of Staten Island elected officials came together earlier this week to oppose a new traffic project on Father Capodanno Boulevard. The plan from the Department of Transportation, which is currently being implemented, removes one travel lane in each direction on Father Capodanno Boulevard between Midland Avenue and the northern entrance of Miller's Field. Speaking from the intersection of Father Capodanno Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue in the Midland Beach, The elected officials demanded that the DOT not move forward with the redesign and keep 2 travel lanes in each direction on this section of Father Capodanno Boulevard. If DOT goes forward with this plan, it will change how Father Capodanno gets utilized, said Assemblymember Michael Tanasaurus, a Republican who represents the East Shore of Staten Island. It will take the road from 2 lanes to 1-lane street and will hold up traffic. We have a message today for the Department of Transportation. Please don't help us, Tanis later added. Every time the Department of Transportation gets involved in safety measures in a project, they make things worse. The changes are being made according to the agencies to shorten pedestrian crossings, reducing speed, and address a pattern of crashes in the area. Between 2020 and 2024, the Department of Transportation said there have been 4 crashes with injuries along this stretch of Father Capodanno Boulevard, culminating in the pedestrian fatality in early 2024. In the place of travel lanes and an existing share-use bike lane, the DOT is adding a protected bike lane near the median of the road and a parking lane near the curbs. According to the data presented by the agency, the stretch of Capodanno affected by the new design sees a low volume of traffic that can easily be handled by 1 lane of thorough traffic. No, it can't. At maximum, Father Capodanno Boulevard at Midland Avenue sees around 510 vehicles an hour, according to the data. On what day are you looking on this? Southbound traffic, Lincoln Avenue, bottoms out at a maximum of 130 vehicles an hour. In a presentation explaining the project, the agency said that a single lane traffic can handle 700 vehicles an hour without congestion. These are the same people that talked about that there won't be any pollution in the outer boroughs when congestive pricing in the city is activated. However, the elected officials at Tuesday's press conference said that they believe removing the lane of traffic would hamstring the borough for future growth. To me, that says we're near capacity, said Councilman David Carr, a Republican representing the Mid-Island. We know that this borough population is not going to stay stagnant, he continued, referring to the City of Yes housing plan. We are going to have an explosion of growth in this borough, which it is already happening. The thing about it is, you look at the real estate in the island, we're getting less and less availability. It's still available out there with stuff like condos and stuff. It's growing less and less every day. A lot more people are coming, whether it's renters or something else. Carr continued. That means we need to have an infrastructure that's ready to meet it, and take away a travel lane on the cusp of all this happening is an absolutely abdication of responsibility. Other opponents of the plan pointed to the negative public opinion in response, a similar redesign that reduced the number of travel lanes on Seaview Avenue, another place that has a lot of activity. Seaview Avenue is near the hospital. We have seen failure of this design that DOT came up at Seaview Avenue. Almost 100% of my constituents are complaining about it, State Senate Jessica Scarelli Spanson, a Democratic representing the North Shore of Staten Island and part of South Brooklyn. There's a lot more to this article. Do check it out on there. But in the main basis of this, it's been a problem because what they're doing is they're reducing the amount of roads. And this is happening in Manhattan. This is happening in the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island. We're already seeing issues in Brooklyn. And we've shown this many times before of children getting out of school buses, almost getting hit by bicycles. It's a major situation that's happening in Brooklyn right now. And I know they're planning to close that bike lane out because of that. You got delivery men, you got regular riders, they're hitting children. And they say, well, we get hit by cars. Two wrongs doesn't make a right at that point. Because they don't respect the road. And the thing about it is, other than Manhattan, bikes out here, yes, we have them, but they're not in that abundance out here in Staten Island. It's a good amount. But the ones that are truly the bikers, they don't even use the lanes. They're practically on the sidewalks. As far as accidents to the situation, maybe they should look at, one of the larger avenues on there, Forest Avenue and Richmond Ave, where they intersect. For the reason is we got a school there, express buses, regular long bus lines. That's the S44, which goes out to the mall, the S48, which goes from one end of the North Shore to the other. Tons of traffic in all directions. And I'll tell you this, the crossing guards, there's a lot of guys who turn right onto Forest Avenue from Richmond. And they don't even pay attention to the crossing guards. And accidents happen there. So what you need to pay attention is when you have the accidents, law enforcement, traffic. We have traffic agents. And they could put some traffic agents on, Capodanno. They could do that. Or put a police patrol out there. Put out a, what do they call it, a remote station out there. They could do that. They have one over by near the mall. I think it's still near the mall on there. Even though they have the new what is it, the 121 precinct there now as well. That's closer to, actually it's closer to the funny part is that's closer to Forest and Richmond Avenue. It's right around the corner from it. But I've lived in this island over a decade, and I know and even in my youth I know Capodanno. I know Capodanno very well growing up. They used to have a little amusement park on there. They need to bring one of those back. Yes, there's like a ball field, playgrounds, the beach, and all that. They need to work on that. That's the other thing. You got Coney Island on the other side that basically does very well for itself. And, Midland Beach, the beaches there on Staten Island, they're okay, but they could do better. Instead of the DOT, have spend money building the neighborhood itself. There are a lot of people who live there. And it's still people that have had damaged homes from that hurricane from years ago. Yeah, there's still people that have not finished fixing their homes out there because they're still waiting for the money from either the government or the city. Or even their insurance company. They're still waiting on that. But it amazed me. They want to shorten everything on there. It's a tight space. Capodanno is already a tight space. You're going to make it tighter? Really? Oh, boy. I'm telling you. But what I also can tell you is, why don't you drop a comment and let me know your thoughts about it. If you're from the New York area, let me know your thoughts about this. Is this something similar to happening to anywhere else in the United States? Let me know also in the comments line too. Or maybe in your neck of the woods overseas. Let me know on that. So don't forget to drop the comment, like, share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.